I'm so excited for today's video because I get to talk about the Jojo Siwa, Chris Hughes, Kath Ebbs situation, relationship, and oh my god, it is so crazy and it is just blowing up before my eyes and so much is happening and I'm just completely overwhelmed but very excited to be able to open up about my thoughts, and I've got the timeline and let's talk about it, okay? So a lot has happened within the last couple weeks with Jojo, Kath Ebbs, the ex of Jojo, and Chris Hughes, the new man, okay? And I wanted to give you an update. We haven't talked about it in quite some time, and yeah, it's pretty crazy. Also, I just want to open this with, I've never clarified this in a video. Guess how long Jojo Siwa and Kath Ebbs were together? If you guessed 4 months, you're correct. Now, this adds a big bit of context to me about the fact that Jojo and Kath Ebbs, and there's an age gap with Jojo and Kath Ebbs. I think it's a couple years. I think Jojo's like 22, 21, and Kath Ebbs like 26, 27 or something like that. I actually just want to double check that really quickly. So by the way, the ages of everyone involved, Jojo Siwa is 22 years old, Chris Hughes is 32 years old, and Kath Ebbs is 27 years old. God, both these people are significantly older than Jojo. But Kath Ebbs being 27 and being at the time in a relationship for 4 months with a 21-year-old and then causing this big blow-ups, on social media and like really attacking Jojo. You know what? I'm on Kath's side because I think Jojo, in the Big Brother house, having like emotional conversations with Chris that were slightly inappropriate, knowing that you were in a relationship and the person outside who you're in a relationship with cannot contact you to tell you to stop. I'm on Kath's side with that, and I think the way that Jojo handled the entire situation is wrong when you're in a relationship. She was definitely, at a bare minimum, emotionally cheating on live TV in front of, her partner, Kath Ebbs, while Kath, just had to they were literally just watching on TV while their partner cheats on them, which is, crazy and such a 21st century thing. So I will always feel bad for them in that. And I just think that, again, the way that Jojo, handled her relationship with Chris in the house was incredibly inappropriate, knowing as well that you're being filmed and that your ex is back home and they can watch it. That I'll always be on Kath's side with. But I also do just want to give a little bit of context here that it was a 4-month relationship, and obviously things can move very, very, very quickly. And I can appreciate that. I am someone that moves very quickly as well. But I think I'm also aware of a 4-month relationship versus a 4-year relationship or even a year relationship. 4 months and 6 months is different, in the relationship. I do think that I do want to acknowledge, again, I'm on Kath's side for what Jojo did to them. I cannot stress that enough. I still stand behind everything I say. I think it was inappropriate. I think it was wrong. I think it just showed that Jojo was not an honest person or whatever, and I would argue a cheater. I just think it's important context, though, that it was only a 4-month relationship, and in the relationship, Jojo was 21 and Kath Ebbs was 27, okay? I'm not saying there's something wrong with that, but I'm saying you're in two very different stages of your life when you're approaching your 30s and you're finally able to drink alcohol for the first time, okay? Don't make me defend Jojo Siwa on that one. But still, how Jojo handled it, when you have a partner and they're watching back home, you don't do what you did with Chris. Now, what's really interesting is obviously Jojo came out of the Big Brother house and, broke up with Kath on the night of the final of Big Brother. And the reason for that was because Jojo said that Kath didn't, want to be seen on TV and basically just wanted to have a conversation before they could be seen publicly together, which fair enough if Kath is, at the backlash, because Kath was getting a lot of backlash from people being like, oh my god, Jojo's cheating on you, how do you feel, LOL, trolling Kath. So then Kath is put in a bad position because of Jojo. So I do believe that Jojo really, really, really handled this wrong and is in the wrong here. But I have a timeline of everything that happened. So let's dive into it and all the recent stuff, because it's really interesting to me because after the Big Brother house, Jojo and Chris went on a little PR tour where they were, saying that they were strictly platonic, they were just friends, whatever. clearly trying to like fix the PR image, trying to get Jojo in the good graces again because people were, calling her a cheater and all the rest and unfaithful. So they do that and then tell me why they're vacationing together for Jojo's birthday, kissing and all this PDA and stuff. We're going to get there. But I'm like, this is drama. This is drama. Oh, also, if you're watching right now, I have a Finsta. I have just opened it up for the next couple hours to public. It's normally private. It is McIntyre's Dump. I'll link it down below at McIntyre's Dump on Instagram. It's normally a private account. I have it on public for people to, join right now. Come follow. It's such a hit. Okay, so this is between Jojo, Siwa, Chris Hughes, and Kath Ebbs. I love that I wrote notes for this. Okay, so Jojo Siwa was obviously going into the Big Brother house. We know Jojo as the creator of gay pop. We know Jojo as the child star. We know Jojo as, the internet star. And then Chris Hughes is a former Love Island UK contestant. And again, he is over 10 years older than Jojo. I think he's like 11 years older than her. And then the ex-partner, Kath Ebbs, who, has a big social media following as well. So obviously it started as a jokey kind of relationship with Jojo and Chris, but then turned very intimate. And let's talk about that. So March 2025 was when Celebrity Big Brother UK started. So Jojo and Chris Hughes met, they were obviously housemates in Big Brother UK, Celebrity Big Brother, and it ended up being that their dynamic and their chemistry became a big focus for people and a big focus on the show and the narrative, and you can see that Big Brother definitely played into it with the edit as well and some of the games. But there were fans that were created from the show that were becoming fans of Jojo and Chris eventually dating. This is how parasocial and weird people are, that people love doing this when it comes to like these shows like Celebrity Big Brother, where they can watch people every day. If they sense that people are getting closer, they start shipping those people and hope for them to get together. I've seen it happen before in Celebrity Big Brother, and it's kind of weird. But they then created this, fan base of people that were so excited for any clues to indicate that Jojo and Chris were romantically involved. And if they were at least emotionally involved, these hundreds of people on Twitter were getting very excited. Like people on Twitter with their profile pictures being Jojo and Chris hugging, them kissing each other on the cheek. It was very weird already off the basis. And then Kath Ebbs is being tagged in all these fucking like love TikTok edits of Jojo and Chris. Like I can't imagine how that is. You know what I mean? So it all started, their dynamic, I think on the first day or the second day, whenever Chris defended Jojo, and I talked about this on my YouTube channel, and I'm so on Jojo's side with this, but Mickey Rourke was someone who was a part of the house, and he ended up getting kicked out for multiple inappropriate actions or words towards housemates. And I'm pretty sure he tried to ask for all of his money for being on the show as an inconvenience fee, and I'm pretty sure that was just dropped. I think so. But he was inappropriate to multiple different people, and Jojo was the first one, where he basically said that he was going to vote Jojo out because she was a lesbian. He said if he stayed in the house long enough that he would make her not a lesbian and like tie her up. Like there was threats, there was homophobia. It was very, very, very disgusting. And Chris Hughes was the only person in the house that defended Jojo during that, stood up to Mickey Rourke, and was loved by the public for doing that, and then went over to Jojo in the moment, asked her if she was okay, hugged her, and there we go. Connection is formed. And then from there, they were inseparable. So their chemistry, just continued to grow. And then we go on. And I think as well, one thing that was interesting was the Big Brother show knew that people were obsessed with this dynamic, and knowing that Jojo had a partner outside of the house, that they were showing every moment of Jojo and Chris. And the show became seeing clips of like Chris rubbing Jojo's back in bed, or Jojo rubbing Chris's back in bed, or them sleeping in the same bed, or cuddling, or, kissing each other on the cheek, or just always being with each other. And the other housemates were picking up on it. And they were picking up on it and saying that Jojo and Chris were playing a game, that they were trying to do this because they knew that it would get them attention and knew that it would get them to stay in the show, which is a PR, relationship, which is what they're accused of to this day. But if Jojo knew that this was a possibility for something that she was going to do, why do you have your partner at home having to experience all this? It's not okay. You know what I mean? So When they leave the house, obviously the media want to know if they get together, but also OMG, Kath Ebbs is going to London to be there at the finale. Now, what normally happens is when someone comes out of the Celebrity Big Brother house, at the end of the catwalk, normally their friends or family will come up and, hug them and stuff like this. Jojo's mum and Jojo's partner, Kath, were not there, and Jojo stood there alone, which was a big indication of Kath Ebbs was not happy with Jojo the night of the finale, even though we knew that Kath traveled from Australia to London for that moment. Now, also, a couple days before the finale, everyone in the Big Brother house got letters from home, and Jojo was the only person that got quite a cold letter from her mother or Kath. It basically didn't say love you, it didn't say love from, didn't say I miss you. It was very, very, very cold, and Jojo was very pissed at this in the house and said how she was annoyed that she didn't get, I love you from Kath, which again kind of then stirred something up with Jojo where she started opening up to Chris about maybe where is it? I have this written down somewhere. I have a lot on this page. Jesus, you'd be shocked at how much I could, fit into this. Oh, here it is. Okay, so, sorry, I have just reading some of my notes on Kath Ebbs later. But basically, wow, I have so many notes on here. This is crazy. So here we go. Jojo revealed on Celebrity Big Brother that she no longer identifies strictly as a lesbian. So this came after that. And obviously to Kath thought that they were in like a lesbian relationship. So obviously this is the first time Kath is hearing this at home as well. Jojo says that she's switching letters and opens up about queerness and kind of about how she identifies more fluid now. And basically a lot of people had a lot of opinions on this. A lot of people were, celebrating that Jojo was being very open. A lot of others were saying it was disrespectful to have this conversation on live TV instead of having it with your partner who's directly affected by the conversation. It was very messy on public. And honestly, my opinion of that is Jojo is my age. We're young and we're figuring it out. And all power to her is just what I'll say there. So, April 2025, merely a month later, Jojo and Kath Ebbs, until this stage had been dating for a couple months. I think it genuinely was 4 months, which is crazy. And then whenever Jojo left the Big Brother house, Kath didn't show up at the runway. And we later find out that during the Celebrity Big Brother wrap party that happened that night, Jojo broke up with Kath. Now, Kath later implied on social media that the breakup felt incredibly sudden and disrespectful, and that they were wanting to have a conversation, but Jojo didn't want to have a conversation. Now, I can see both sides, like Kath wanting to have the conversation when Jojo immediately leaves the house, but I can also see Jojo in the real world experiencing people that aren't the housemates and wanting to just have fun that one night and want to connect with the producers and stuff. So I can see both sides with that one. I kind of more so am on Jojo's side with that, or maybe I'm on, I don't know. I can see both perspectives. Look at me being very unbiased here. So we go on, and Kath in an Instagram story said that boundaries weren't just blurred, they were bulldozed. Shocking. She then hints that Jojo's relationship with Chris felt like a betrayal, and Jojo responded days later saying that the relationship with Kath was already unraveling and that Chris wasn't the reason, and it would have happened anyway with Kath, which, was like crazy. So then we go on to present day. Jojo and Chris go on a little bit, like I said, of a PR tour trying to prove that they are not dating to kind of clear their images. And then Kath, kind of speaks about them, but then kind of dies off. And it seemed that the topic kind of died off, right? Now, going back to them in the house being accused by the people who were in the house with them as doing this for PR, what's really interesting is after them debunking the relationship, in May of 2025, which we're literally in right now, they go to Mexico together and kind of soft launch a relationship, like Jojo and Chris. So they were spotted vacationing in Cabo, and paparazzi photos showed them, lounging by the pool, holding hands, kissing. I'm like, okay, we just dialed this up a shit ton, okay? Jojo Siwa's now with a straight man. The CEO of Gay Pop is now with a straight man? What? So anyways, That was crazy. There were literally so many paparazzi photos that were just showing them literally soft/hard launching a relationship, which is crazy considering they spent like 3 weeks in the PR media trying to tell us, oh my God, there's nothing here. I love Kath. I respect Kath. Like Jojo was literally going around podcasts being like, I don't want to talk about this any further out of respect. Whew. And then things just sped up. So Chris posted the best or prettiest 7 days I've ever had with a photo of Jojo. And then Jojo shares another photo captioned, this is more magical than anything I could have ever imagined, with obviously Chris. And then this started a lot of public criticism with people being like, okay, you just broke up with Kath, but you also told us that this wasn't the reason you broke up with Kath, so what's going on here? Things get even weirder because May 20th, Jojo and Chris go to Orlando for Jojo's birthday. So the Mexico trip happened, and then they go to Orlando, Florida, which was crazy because I escaped them in Orlando, Florida, specifically Disney World, by about 3 days. I was literally doing Drink Around the World like 3 days before this. I really just escaped them. I would have given you a live exclusive. So Jojo celebrates her 22nd birthday with Chris in Orlando, and they go to Disney World, and they're, seen being a very close couple at Disney World. They also go to Disney Springs where they're like eating at different restaurants, and people were recognizing them and taking fan photos of them, which also kind of seems a little bit PR because the last time that Jojo went to Disney World was when she went there for her 21st birthday and got like drunk or something like that and was like singing Karma, and it was a big PR moment and she knew that. So it seems like, oh, for your birthday a year later, going back there and getting a lot of PR, like, Jojo's mother, Jess Lynn, is also there, which again kind of is interesting. She was there with them like the entire time through this, photographed with them. They were even photographed all together with Abby Lee Miller. Look who rolls in the wheelchair, Abby Lee Miller. Who knows that Wendy Williams meme? And then we have paparazzi photos of Chris greeting Jojo at the airport with flyers. And I'm like, okay, y'all just spent 3 weeks trying to persuade us that we were crazy, and now you're in our faces being like, we love each other. So this is what has happened since. So Kath Ebbs posted on Instagram with Billie Eilish, or sorry, not Billie, I think it was, I don't know if it was Billie Eilish's, but it was The Other Woman, the song, The Other Woman. I fucking love that song, it's so funny. And then also shared a TikTok lip syncing to, you said you'd never leave me, but then you left me. And also comments under fan posts suggesting that she's publicly humiliated by Jojo moving on. And again, a lot of people are saying they're happy for Jojo, and a lot of people are saying that this is PR, very weird, disrespectful. But again, for me, the main things I take away from this is the conversation about allowing people to figure out themselves. I'm happy for Jojo in that. I think a conversation of being respectful to your partners, Jojo needs to learn some things. And I think as well, it just is a testament in stan, culture of shipping people, OTPs, one true pairing, never left. Welcome back. It's more evil than ever. People are creating OTP ship cultures for people who are getting together on Celebrity Big Brother. We are in the pits of hell. We are in the pits of fucking hell. God, I can't believe it. Oh, please let me know your thoughts down below. I would love to talk to you about it, and goodbye.